Hi. Well, I want to give a little introduction to Rumi. Rumi was a Muslim poet who grew up and lived in the 1200s, 13th century. So really, he wasn't that far removed in time from St. Francis. His poetry is absolutely stunning. He wrote it to Allah, no matter what General Boykin may say. Allah and God are the same guy. And he wrote it to Allah, and beautiful poetry can relate to with our hearts about love for God. As I said, he was a Sufi, and to know something about Rumi, you have to know a bit of something about Sufis. And Sufism is a branch of Islam that takes some of the phrases that most Muslims take pretty seriously and literally, and it takes them seriously, but it takes them in a more mystical direction to get to the hidden under part of what it's all about. They also are known for inducing mystical states in various ways. Now, one way they did this that you may have seen before on perhaps a television program or read about is by twirling. And you often see them wearing a long black kind of robe, like a priest might wear. And they simply put out their arms and they spin again and again. They were called the whirling dervishes. And this kind of dizzy, lightheaded state would put them more in contact, they thought, with mystical union. And the goal of the Sufis was union with God. But make no mistake, they are Muslims. And as such, they believe the Quran is right. They may not agree with the interpretation that others have of the Quran. I haven't noted too many Sufis that have been pro-jihad, certainly. If you take jihad to mean holy war. But in their lifetime, they attracted many who were looking for more. They also, some of them were martyred because of their views by the other Muslims. Though generally they are respected in the Muslim world and allowed to exist because they are, in a sense, Orthodox Muslims for sure. When he was a young man, but his father was attracted to Sufism too, some of his other relatives, and he was very influenced by it. And when he was a young man, I would say in his 20s, he took over a school, madrasa, that was for young people that were trying to learn. And he was the Islamic teacher there. And you got to realize throughout the Middle Ages that, and back then, the wisdom was not with the Christians. And the science was not with the Christians. It was with the Muslims. You know, where do you get the name algebra from? That's the guy, algebra. That's the guy that cooked it up. These people, Muslim people, are not real simplistic. And they were great scholars of things that have had importance into the world. That might have passed some later on to some degree, I don't know. But certainly back then, they were noted for having the best medicine, noted for having the best science, noted for having preserved Aristotle, which had largely gone down the drain. The Muslims at that time were heavily dependent on Aristotle. And of course, Thomas Aquinas, the doctor of the church, also was dependent upon Aristotle. And he may have learned a lot from the Sufis. But he moved around some. And he wrote poetry mostly about the love of God. So, trying to think of what else I need to say about it to make clear here. Even though he was Muslim, he had room for a few others too. Like one of his poems he wrote read, "On the seeker's path, wise men and fools are one. In his love, brothers and strangers are one. Go on, drink the wine of the beloved. In that faith, Muslims and pagans are one. And then he said the light of Muhammad does not abandon the Zoroastrian or Jew in the world. May the shade of his good fortune shine upon everyone. He brings all those who are led astray into the way out of descent. So certainly um, interesting character. And we're going to read a few of his love poems over the next few meditations. Take time to quiet down and settle down, and then read these poems prayerfully. And of course, remember, because it's very true. I know we live in a world with a lot of Muslim extremism and tension. And if you ask Poles here, most people don't want Muslims for their neighbors, but most Muslims are good neighbors, and certainly we can learn something of their love from God. They are considered one of the Abrahamic religions, along with Judaism and Christianity. So certainly listen to what he has to say about God and the love of God. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Have a good day. By the way, I hope this works out because normally I do these recordings on my Mac, and now I'm using my Kindle.